Hello guys and welcome back to VEDS. Today we're going to be talking about ensembles and uh, the approaches to writing ensembles that I have taken. As with my criticism video, I am not saying that this is the way that it should be done, that other people should do it, or even necessarily how I should do it. It just happens to be the way that has worked for me so far, and as time goes on, I'm sure it will change, and as I mature as a writer, so will my method. But I really like writing ensembles because I like banter, and you have to have multiple characters to have banter. But there's one specific way that I go about writing characters. And I should say, I will be talking more about ensembles in tomorrow's video, specifically the replies to my question, what ensembles do y'all like? Today, I want to talk about this idea of these four motivators that are at the core of people's personalities, motivations, driving factor. Now, I was introduced to this through the idea that these are the four things that motivate sin. I'm not going to get into the theological or psychological aspects of this, frankly, because I don't care. But I have found that these are really good ways to explore your characters. And so I wrote a screenplay. It's still a work in progress, but I wrote a screenplay in my last year of college that involved several kids going into a fantasy world. And at the heart of these kids, I gave each of them a driving, motivating factor. So these four motivators are power, control, comfort, and acceptance. And I should say, all of these blend in with each other. So I have one of my more important side characters named Peter. His main motivation is power. He really likes the idea of being able to do things. When I think we hear characters who want power, I think that automatically goes to like a maniacal type of power. But Peter's not like that. He's more just, he likes being good at stuff and he likes being able to do stuff. Then we have a character named Madeline. She is one of the older characters in the group and very intelligent, but not always the best at like applying that intelligence. But she wants control. Her whole thing is that she really wants to go on this adventure and that she feels like she is very capable, and a lot of times she is, but sometimes she kind of overreaches that and takes control of situations that she's not ready to take control of. If you've seen the movie Rushmore, it's kind of the same deal as Max in that, where he's just overly confident and it's all kind of rooted in he wants to be in charge of stuff. Then there's a character named Ben. He's the youngest of the group. And I feel like his motivations are the most clear. He's dealing with loss and grief and coming to terms with death. And so his thing is he's seeking comfort. I think that's pretty explanatory with, his motivation. But he has been thrown for a loop and he is not coping with it well. And so in every situation, he is trying to find what makes him most comfortable. And a lot of times, that means that he's just trying to pull back. And finally is the main POV character, Sam. And I admittedly kind of wrote Sam in a way where they were not really as well defined as the other characters. I kind of wanted to figure out how to do kind of like the Alice in Wonderland type POV character who just kind of reacts to stuff, but do that in an interesting way. However, as I wrote them, I decided what I wanted was someone who is pursuing acceptance. They have always isolated themselves just because that's their personality. This is very much coming from me. I isolate myself. It's just, a byproduct of who I am. But at a certain point growing up, I had to learn that I can't keep doing this. I have to, go out and seek other people's acceptance. So what's interesting about Sam is this isn't really something that is motivating them intentionally. This isn't something that they would say they want, but it is something that at some point they need to do. And I think that kind of curtails into the second thing, and this is something I don't intentionally do with my ensembles, but I always end up doing, which is I break them into bits of who I am. I'm a very overconfident person, which is, Madeline to a nutshell. I have this self-isolation that Sam has. Ben is my more reserved and quiet side, the side that I honestly would say is my most true to who I think I am, even if it's not how I present to other people. But I find that interesting because you write what you know, um, because you can only write from your own perspective. And so, to be kind of incapable of not writing myself into characters is something that I accept. But I found that between those two methods and between the banter between them, I'm able to come up with really cool character dynamics and personalities for them that complement and clash with each other. The banter is something that I cannot stress enough is very important in this process because, like, if you're gonna write banter, you need to have uh, certain points of contrast between the characters, and so those really get brought out as I write. But yeah, so that's how I write ensembles. I'm curious for my fellow writers how you go about that, and more specifically, how you formulate characters either by themselves or before sliding them into an ensemble. And this video kind of went a lot longer than I wanted it to go, but that's fine. I can maybe take care of that in editing. We'll see. I will see y'all tomorrow.